Hi, everybody. This video is to show you how, as a class, you are going to do a wiki for our final chapters of Biology 101. So there is a feature in Blackboard called a wiki, and it kind of sounds like, Wikipedia. So what a wiki is it's a user contribution page. This time it's going to be in Blackboard. And it's kind of an opportunity for you to show what you know or show what you've learned. So I have us here on the main page of Blackboard. And when you scroll all the way down through the course content, what you'll see is week 14, ecology and the biosphere. So you will click on that. And I'm going to have to change my preview here to be a student preview so that you can see how things are going to look for you. You're looking at things from the instructor point of view right now. I want you to see it how you're going to see it. So I'm going to change my view to a student view, and that should do it. So let me go back down into ecology and the biosphere. So what you see for your overview and your learning objectives, these are all your objectives. I know this first one doesn't have a nice little bullet next to it. I couldn't get that format correctly done for some reason, but you see there's like, I don't know, there has to be like 14 or 15 objectives here. So there really is just enough for everybody to choose one. If you find that there's not one for you, let me know. But based on who we have in the class and how many objectives are here, there should be enough for everybody. Some of these are a little bit different than what you're going to see in the wiki because, like, for instance, this one that says define global climate change. The definition of global climate change, whoever were to pick that one would be really easy just to come up with a definition. So I had to add things to the ones that say define because defining is not really a critical skill. A definition, coming up with a definition is not a critical skill. So under readings and resources, that's where you're going to have your chapter PowerPoint. But of course, the OpenStax textbook is where all the good information is. And you should be able to access that the normal way you've been accessing the textbook. You're going to click on activities to complete. There is an ed puzzle here for you to complete, but this is what a wiki looks like. See how the page looks kind of funky? The icon looks funky. You're going to go ahead and click on that. And by the way, this video is going to be populated somewhere, either on the folder, in the folder, so that you know what you're doing. So what we have here is we have every single objective that you just saw, and actually they're all numbered. So there are 17 of them, every single one. So there should be enough for every single student in the class. And if you find that there isn't, please let me know. Instead of assigning you an objective, I'm going to let you pick. And it is going to be first come, first served. So if anybody has already claimed one, you can't claim it. Even if it looks like it's only half done, you can't claim it. Okay. So how are you going to do this? Well, this is exactly how it should look when you go in, what you're seeing right now. And you can see that I created the wiki, I modified the wiki, and you very simply are going to hit edit wiki content. And when you edit wiki content, you're going to come into a page where it's going to allow you to add in things. Now, you might be nervous about this. You might be afraid you're going to mess something up. You might be afraid of deleting something. You really can't. Every time you make a change, there is a documented history with the wiki. So you're not going to be able to just like totally delete everything. However, I would be careful, when you're typing in here, making sure that things look good. And it has to be so much more than just an entry of a definition or a description. So you see here, define ecology and the 4 basic levels of ecological research. So there's more to that than just definitions. Actually, I'm even going to add in define and describe just to give a little bit more flavor to it. So all of these different ones, you're picking one and you are responsible for one. So let's say you like number 3, distinguish between abiotic and biotic components of the environment. What you need to do is you need to put in an entry there. So, and it needs to be something more than just a basic definition. You have these nice features with Blackboard where you can add in things. So let me just go through some of the buttons here so you can see what you can add in. That's copy, that's paste. You have these 3. Okay, that minimizes that. There should be one here for inserting pictures. That's a preview button. Okay, here's add content. So when you hit the plus sign, it's like, what do you want to add in here? You can add in something from a local file. So that would be something that's on your computer already. So if you find a picture online that you think is great, or you want to snip something that's from the textbook or from the PowerPoint, you can do that, but you have to save it to your computer first. And when you save it, you're going to pick it up off your computer. So I would save it to your picture folder on your computer. Almost every PC, I don't know about Mac users. I'm not a Mac user. I wish I were a Mac user, but I'm not a Mac user. Every PC has a file for photos. So either save it to your desktop, save it to the picture file and pick it up there. You also have, you could insert a YouTube video. It just has to be public. So if you find that there's a YouTube video that applies to what we're talking about, you could embed it into the wiki, and that would be really good content there. Flickr and Dropbox and all that, like you probably won't use those. You'll probably either use a local file or you'll probably use YouTube. But you need to put in something, besides you need to have a description, and people learn visually. So we want to create this nice wiki page. This is in lieu of taking an exam. So instead of taking an exam together as a class, we are going to build this wiki document together. It's not worth as much as an exam would be. It's like 20-ish points or so. But still, this is where you're going to kind of show your mastery of a certain objective, and you get to pick the objective. So some other features that you should know about here are sizing your font appropriately. So the font that's on here is an 18 point. I wouldn't go any smaller than a 14 point, which is the next level down. You would think it would be 16, but it's not, it's 14. You could do a bulleted list if you felt the need to do a list and use the bullets there. You can change your font color. It just needs to be a font color that people can see. Yellow's usually not a good idea. You could add highlighter. I believe this is for, that might be for italics. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can change this to italics. See if it's, no, that's not italics. Oh, italics is over here with the I. B for bold, underscore. We're probably not going to do any strike throughs because why would you do that on a wiki page? But there are a lot of little features here that you can use, and you can sort of almost, make it a little fancier than just words. Make it a visual learning tool. Okay. So you might be thinking, like, how am I getting graded on this? Like, how do I know if I'm going to get a good grade? Well, let me go back. So you would go to the button that says My Contribution, and there's like a little thing here that says by rubric, like this little button. I don't know if you can see, it looks like a grid. You want to click on that. That's your rubric. So let's take a look at how you could get a really good score. Well, you don't want to be considered a novice. A novice is like a beginner. And even though this may be your first time doing this, you don't want to be considered a novice in biology or a novice in the topic. You want to be considered proficient. So novice is not good here. Competent is like, okay, it's fine. But proficient means that, like, not only is it fine, it's really good. Like, you did a good job. You did not plagiarize information. You do not want to plagiarize information. Like if you find something in the PowerPoint that matches your objective, don't just copy and paste it. Don't just copy and paste it. You have to show that you have mastered the content, that you understand the knowledge. Okay. Um, I do have a checker on Blackboard that will tell me if the information you put in was plagiarized. And if it is, that's not good. So I can't give you credit for plagiarized work. So let's take a look at what you would have to be proficient. You have a couple categories here. You have formatting, content, spelling and grammar, and contribution to the group. So even if you're like, well, I'm not really good at spelling, I'm I can't spell things correctly. I have trouble with that. Then type it into a Google Doc first. Google Doc will underline the words, or even Microsoft Word. They'll underline incorrectly spelled words and tell you if they're spelled wrong. And they'll even give you suggestions for how they're supposed to be spelled. That extra step is worth it because you don't want the point deduction. So, to get proficient, makes excellent use of font, color, graphics, effects, etc. to enhance the presentation. It's not really a presentation, it's a wiki. For content, covers the topic in depth with details and examples. Subject knowledge is excellent, so you didn't forget anything. And to get the highest level in spelling and grammar, you have to have no misspellings or no grammatical errors. If you have any, then you're automatically boosted, or I don't even want to say boosted, you're demoted to competent. Okay, so you got to check. You also don't want to have any broken links or missing images. Like you can link a page if you think there's a helpful page online to your topic, to your objectives, you can link it, and I'll show you how to do that. And then are you being a great contributor to the class wiki? It's one objective. You're only responsible for one. Competent is like your middle of the ground, like middle of the road. Means you did the work. It might have not been the best, but you did it. And then novice, means that there was a lot of issues for novice. Okay, so I'll be grading you based on that. And I did say I would show you how to put in links. So if I go back to the wiki itself and I hit edit wiki content, which is what you're going to be doing, links can be put in with this link. Looks like two, like a chain link together here. That's how you do that. Or you can just copy and paste a URL and put it in under your objective. So if you find a page of information that you think is helpful to the understanding of your objective, then, go ahead and put it in. But I think it's much more helpful to put in pictures, photos, other things that you find. And that's not considered plagiarism if you put in pictures and photos that you find online or even in the PowerPoint. But verbatim, word for word description, or even only slight paraphrasing is still considered plagiarism. Like if you're not sure what plagiarism is at this level of the game, you need to contact me because, the college has adopted the policy, and this has been adopted for a while, that accidental plagiarism and intentional plagiarism are the same. Accidental plagiarism and intentional plagiarism are treated the same. Okay, so you can't really fall back on the well, I didn't know. The college expects you to know. As a college level student, the college expects you to know what plagiarism is and what plagiarism isn't. Okay, so please understand that before you make any decisions about what you're going to put in for your objective. So that is the deal with a wiki. You go in, you claim your wiki. You might say, well, how do you know, Ms. Castone, how do you know if I did, which wiki I did? I can see it in the history. But if you want to go in and claim it with your name, like if you're like, okay, I'm going to claim this one, so I'm going to put my name in parentheses like this, that's fine too, if you want to claim it like that. Just keep in mind, if you only use your first name, there are several of you that have the same first name. So, and there's a few of you that have the same last name. So, make sure I know who you are. Okay, so that is how you do a wiki. You go in, you pick one objective, you take a look at the rubric, you make sure you're not plagiarizing, and that is that. Okay, so give that a try for chapter 44.